Thanks, SJ. Hello and welcome to the Daily Climate Show. Coming up today, more than 650 scientists urge world leaders to stop destroying the lungs of the Earth by burning trees to make energy. The UN campaign to improve soil health and management across the globe as the organisation marks World Soil Day. And the British Red Cross says the UK is ill prepared for floods as wet weather becomes more common. Hello and welcome to the Daily Climate Show, where we track the changes to our world and investigate some of the potential solutions to the climate crisis. More than 650 scientists are calling on world leaders, including Rishi Sunak, to stop burning trees to create energy because it destroys the lungs of the planet. Well, ahead of the COP15 Biodiversity Summit this week, scientists from every continent wrote to leaders about the devastating impact of bioenergy on habitats. Creating bioenergy involves cutting down trees and burning them to generate electricity. And they want major users, which include China, the US and the UK, to ditch the energy source altogether. Well, as you can see here from our climate data dashboard, more than 5% of the UK's electricity is currently being fuelled by biomass. Our climate reporter Victoria Seabrook has more.
Now, this is all about bioenergy, which has long been a controversial form of energy because it involves cutting down trees and using parts of them to generate electricity, albeit planting new trees in their place. But more than 600 scientists have written to selected world leaders urging them to ditch this energy source because of what they say is a devastating impact on nature. So the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is one of those name-checked in the letter because the UK is such a big consumer of this form of energy. It provides something like 13% of our electricity, but the scientists are saying this is having an impact on nature that we just can't afford. It's not just about the trees, but all of the other benefits that they bring. You're also losing the moss, which helps to slow flooding, or the fact that these forests provide habitats for things like birds and insects which are pollinating our crops that are making our food. And this letter lands just before high-stakes international negotiations start this week in Canada to try to reverse the unprecedented loss of nature that we're seeing around the world at the moment. This is happening alongside and linked with the climate crisis. 1 million species at risk of extinction. And what they're saying is that efforts to reverse the decline of nature and protect certain areas of land is going to be undermined if we're also cutting down forests at the same time. Now, as I said, this is a very controversial and divisive form of energy because you've also got a significant group of scientists who say, well, actually, by actively managing the forest in this way, we can help to suck up carbon and ensure that these habitats are protected. So certainly very divisive, and this will feature at these negotiations, which will be talking about how to protect the world's land.
Well, as Victoria was saying there, COP15 starts on Wednesday this week. But what is it and how does it differ to the other climate summit held in Egypt just last month? Well, its official title is the 15th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. Last month's COP27 summit was focused on climate change, of course, whereas COP15 this week focuses on bringing the Earth's biodiversity under control. It was scheduled to take place in Kunming in China 2 years ago, but was postponed because of the pandemic. The first part took place online in October last year, where delegates committed to put the world's biodiversity on a path to recovery by 2030. Now, although China retains its presidency, the second part of the meeting has now moved to the Canadian city of Montreal and will take place from this Wednesday until Monday, the 19th of December. And we will, of course, keep you right across the latest developments throughout the summit. OK, well, let's take a look at what else is making climate news today for you. And the UK is ill prepared to respond to floods caused by climate change. That's according to the British Red Cross. A new report from the charity says that almost 3 in 4 people living in an area where floods are likely don't know they're actually at risk. Well, it comes as experts warn the number of properties in England at risk of flooding from heavy rainfall in the next 30 years could double. Now, more than 2,500 seals have been found dead on the Caspian Sea coast in southern Russia. The cause of the deaths isn't yet known, and the head of the Caspian Environmental Protection Centre said there was no sign they were killed or caught in fishing nets. Caspian seals have been classified as endangered since 2008. A climate change protester who blocked the Sydney Harbour Bridge has been sentenced to 15 months in prison for disrupting rush hour traffic. Deanna Violet Coco was one of 4 protesters from the activist group Fireproof Australia who blocked a lane on the bridge back in April. Well, today the New South Wales Premier described the sentence as pleasing to see, but UN official Clement Vall said he was alarmed by the court's decision. Now, today is World Soil Day, an international initiative led by the UN to highlight the importance in maintaining healthy ecosystems and climate change mitigation. Well, according to the organisation, the equivalent of a football pitch is lost due to soil erosion every 15 seconds, putting major strains on global food security. Well, 95% of our food comes from soils. 18 naturally occurring chemical elements are essential to plants. Soils supply 15 of those. Now, agricultural production will have to increase by 60% to meet the global food demand in 2050. 33% of soils are degraded, meaning the level of nutrients and vitamins in food is drastically decreased. And using fewer chemical pesticides, covering bare soil with crops that stay in leaf for longer, and adding compost could help sustainably manage soil and produce up to 58% more crops. Well, to mark World Soil Day, the Soil Association are encouraging people to get dirty for nature and climate and take selfies with soil. Head of PR at the charity, Pete Williams, joins me now. Hi, Pete. Good to have you with us. Let's talk about just how important soil is to all of us. And it's not just agricultural, is it? It's also the ecosystem for the world.
Absolutely. It may be just dirt under our feet, but soil is essential to life on Earth, and it holds the answer to the combined climate and nature crisis.
And why does it hold the answer to tackling the combined nature and climate crisis? Why is it so crucial to both, Pete?
Well, soil does many things, but healthy soil actually locks away carbon. It protects us from floods and droughts. And also, very importantly, it provides the world with healthy food.
And Pete, tell me about 7-year-old soil guru Anishwar Kunshala.
Well, Anishwar Kunshala rose to fame on Britain's Got Talent, but he is a real soil guru. And we've teamed up with him to actually help educate the next generation about the importance of soil health. And he's joined us to demonstrate some really inspiring and engaging soil science experiments so we can see why it's so important for farmers to do things like cover crops and to actually sustainably manage our soils so that they protect us and provide us with healthy food right into the future.
How do they do that? How do farmers do that? And how do we do that? How do we get it right?
Well, there's many things we can do, and you've gone through some of those already, but composting, planting our own, choosing organic foods and buying local food, so maybe signing up to a local box scheme. These are all simple things we can do at home, but we need the policymakers, both here in the UK and across the world to step up to the challenge. We've known this for long enough, but it's essential that at COP15 in Montreal, that they start to take the steps that are going to protect our soil and actually ensure that we can tackle the climate crisis and also protect biodiversity.
And Pete, finally, you're asking people to take selfies with their hands up. Tell us more about that. What? I think the hands have to have dirt on them, right?
That's it. We're asking everybody to roll up their sleeves on World Soil Day, get dirty for nature, and actually just hold up their hand, take a selfie photo or a video, and just say why soil is important. It locks away carbon, it protects us from floods and drought, and it helps feed the world. That's all it is. We just wanted everybody to share it with friends and family so we all understand how important soil is, and that the policymakers actually sit up and listen and act now.
OK, I'll make a pledge, Pete. I'll do that for you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Pete Williams from the World Soil Association. OK, that's all from me and the team here. Thanks very much for watching.